On to business then. Charles is here. He's come off the top of his own tower to talk about Samsung Electronics' mind-boggling quarter, Charles.
And I demand a sandwich before I start doing this.
Okay. Oh, afterwards, all right.
The South Korean chipmaker has been seeing incredible success thanks to a boom in demand for the chips it supplies, and which are used in the worldwide build-out in AI infrastructure. These are semiconductor chips, not chips that would come with a sandwich, for instance. That coupled with the fact that there is a memory chip shortage that's expected to last through 2027. That financial success has also trickled down to its workers, who've seen annual bonuses worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The success continued in the second quarter of this year, with operating profit reaching just under 90 trillion won. That's about 51 billion euros, compared to a year prior when profits were under 5 trillion won. That's an 1,800% increase. But that result had been largely priced in by investors, so Samsung's share price has actually fallen this Tuesday. Almost 7% earnings of AI-related stocks being watched very closely to see whether the incredible amounts of spending on AI are justified. And here you have a bit of an answer.
Wow, those figures are incredible, aren't they? Let's look at the wider markets then. What's moving them today, Sean?
Well, we're seeing oil futures rising, with tensions also rising once again in the Strait of Hormuz, with commercial vessels reportedly hit by Iranian missiles. Iran state media saying one liquefied natural gas tanker had been warned about taking a route through the strait other than the one sanctioned by Tehran. The exact nature of what traffic through Hormuz will look like has been a stumbling block in peace talks between the U.S. and Iran. And this, coupled with a sell-off in tech stocks, has brought East Asian shares lower this Tuesday. A circuit breaker was actually triggered for the Kospi in South Korea. Trading halted 20 minutes after the index plunged more than 8%. This is the sixth time this was triggered this year, highlighting the volatility of these AI stocks. And in Europe, this Tuesday morning, the sentiment is muted at the open. As you can see, with a mixed picture, the DAX in Frankfurt down 0.1%, while the CAC 40 in Paris is up 0.33%.
Going to move to Canada for this next story, announcing what could potentially be the biggest defence procurement contract of its history.
At an event in Halifax, Prime Minister Mark Carney said his government chose German firm TKMS to build a new fleet of up to 12 submarines. Some reports suggest the contract could be worth anywhere between $14 and $21 billion. This comes as Canada is looking to increase defense spending to 5% of its GDP by 2035, up from 2% currently. TKMS was chosen over a rival bid by South Korean firm Hanwha Ocean. Mark Carney highlighted some of the wins for Canada, notably a promise that all of the investment will be matched by equal investments by the German firm in Canada.
And we're going to end.
In addition, TKMS has offered to reallocate boats from the German and Norwegian orders, allowing for early delivery of the first 4 submarines by 2034. TKMS is the best choice for Canadian workers. It will directly create and sustain an ecosystem of well over 100,000 well-paying jobs across Canada.
And Charles, finishing up today in Cuba, suffering its third nationwide blackout this year.
The Trump administration is piling economic pressure on Havana as it tries to unseat the communist government that has run the island nation for some 6 decades. While mounting sanctions are making life increasingly difficult for Cubans, with the country's government denouncing what it calls a genocidal energy blockade. Brian Quinn has the story.
On the streets of Havana, traffic lights gone dark Monday, as Cuba suffered its third nationwide blackout of the year, and its 8th since last fall.
Here we are in Darkistan. There's nothing to do in the blackout until something else happens.
Rolling blackouts of 30 hours or more are growing increasingly common as Cuba's electric utility tries desperately to conserve fuel for its dilapidated Soviet-era power plants. President Miguel Diaz-Canel decrying what he calls a genocidal energy blockade put in place by the United States. Since January, the U.S. has allowed just one oil tanker to reach the island from Russia. That supply ran out in April.
Oil hasn't come in here for a while, and we don't have any other way to solve the problem. We have to resist, as we Cubans say.
Stymied in its efforts at regime change in Iran, the Trump administration is hoping that in Cuba it can replicate its success, deposing Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and turning his country into a U.S. vassal state. In early June, the Trump administration tightened its sanctions to target companies that do business on the island, pushing several European hotel groups to abandon their management contracts there and crippling the crucial tourism sector. Last month, the Cuban government rolled out a free market liberalization reform package for its state-run economy aimed at placating the anti-communist Trump administration. Washington has dismissed those measures as superficial smoke signals. Havana, though, insists its fundamental economic model is not up for debate and says Cuba will resist any U.S. invasion with military force.
Brian Quinn reporting there, Charles. Thanks a lot with the business.